Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm at one of my favorite undisclosed locations because we got a bunch of seagulls flying over us, but we also have a car from that manufacturer that's making huge waves in the auto industry. This is a 2021 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Our particular one is a fully loaded limited trim, but before we dive into this mid-size fuel-sipping sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. Hyundai. They've been selling cars here in the United States since 1986. It was the Excel, hatchback, and sedan. What's fascinating is we didn't get the Sonata until the second generation of the vehicle, which was in 1989. Now, of course, since 1989, lots of changes, not only with the Sonata, but also with the auto industry. But the big thing was last year, the redesign of their midsize sedan. Now, this vehicle obviously is going to be going up against that Toyota Camry hybrid, the Honda Accord hybrid. But what I want to find out is the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, is that the one to buy? Is that the better hybrid sedan to buy over the competition? We have a Calypso red one. It's got some fancy technology that those other competitors don't have yet on their vehicles. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this midsize sedan from Hyundai and check out, should you be buying the new Sonata Hybrid? Let's find out. Right off the bat, the color really has a nice pop to it. Some metallic flake, shines nicely in the Florida sun. When we start at the front of the business, what's interesting is that with this redesign, I can't believe I'm saying this, I actually like the hybrid version better than the standard version. And it has a lot to do with the amount of gloss black. But let's talk about what's going on here. You'll notice that we have, of course, a very nice sporty shaped headlight housing, everything blacked out on the interior. You have your LED elements, and then these massive LED daytime running lamps that actually go and flow right into the trim. Hyundai calls this their hidden lighting lamps. And it's a very intricate design that makes it definitely stand out from the rest of the pack. You'll drop down, you'll notice that you have fully functional side air curtains, because remember, we're trying to cheat the air with a hybrid vehicle to get a little bit better fuel economy. The chrome trim on the Limited, very tasteful, nothing too gaudy. And then as you come across that center grille, now what's fascinating, one of the things I like about the hybrid version is I'm digging this nice aluminum trim, this horizontal aluminum trim with the badging. You got a forward-facing camera. And the reason why I think I like it so much is that it's not so much gloss black. And it kind of covers up the fact that it has that catfish. A lot of people are calling it that catfish design. And it just kind of cleans it up. Now, what's fascinating on top of all that is that if you compare this to the granddaddy of all hybrids, the Toyota Prius, this has the same coefficient drag as a Toyota Prius. So think about that. This looks more like the actual vehicle that it represents, a Sonata, without looking like a science experiment compared to the Prius. So you actually get to have your style and your fuel sipping savings as well. On the bottom is the only portion of gloss black. So just a little bit of gloss black on that lower lip there, but everything is functional from bottom to top. Hood, nice and low, and I love the way as it comes towards the grille, it gets a hard crease and folds nicely into that grille area. Now, when we get up onto that low hood, you do have a slight bulge. You can have your hybrid and get a bulge up the center towards the windshield, stays nice and steady, does not dissipate whatsoever. Now, as we come around the bend, part of the hybrid setup is going to be the wheels. These wheels are specifically designed to help generate that airflow down the side of the vehicle. Believe it or not, it's a 17-inch wheel, so you're not getting 19s or 20s. And if you're comparing this to a Honda Accord, that would be somewhere where this is lacking. On the new Accord for 2021, the hybrid, they have 19-inch wheels. The first time ever, 19-inch wheel on a hybrid Accord. So this is one area where it's a little bit smaller wheel, but for the most part, I'm digging it. The machined aluminum, you got this metallic gray, and you'll notice the vortex generators actually on the aluminum wheel to help generate that air down the side of the vehicle. But the good news is you're gonna get a meaty 55 series sidewall that's really gonna help with the ride, 215 on the width. Now you'll notice beautiful hard body line around the fender, and then one of my favorite parts of the side is right here. Instead of putting a fake vent or any of that stick-on junk, they actually put some beautiful character as you have one line that kind of fades away. The other one is nice and solid all the way down the side of the vehicle towards the rear taillights. Now on the bottom, you're gonna get a wonderful indentation that help with that character, help with the airflow. Even the side sill, a nice aggressive side sill to help generate that air. It is gloss black, but like I said, the gloss black is at a minimum. Now the biggest news, besides the color matched mirror caps, is this guy right up top. You don't get a sunroof, but what you do get is the industry's only solar powered roof panel on a hybrid vehicle. Having this on a sunny day, Hyundai says you'll get an extra 2 miles of range, which wait until you hear how far you could go on a tank of gas on this thing. It's gonna blow your mind. Limited trim, you got some shiny bright metalwork, top and bottom, flat black in the center. And then as we work our way towards the rear, you're gonna get that same sexy shape on the Sonata, that side profile, great shape on the rear quarter window. I like the way they do the trim to flare out, and then the hard body line. Look at that line comes into the rear. Now, there's been some debate, and I think people are sort of getting over it. They've been fighting so much about the catfish grill that they kind of forgot about this area. Some people aren't really digging the vortex generators. You know what? It's there for a reason as the air comes off the rear of the vehicle to clean up that air, but you're gonna get a nice tasteful gloss black trunk lid spoiler, just kicks up nicely. And as we drop down, I do like the way they did the LED work. It does look, a lot of people are saying it looks like a Honda Civic, but they did a great job the way it comes all the way across the center section. You have the hybrid badge. I wish they would do something different with this. I am gonna zonk the hybrid badge. It just, I don't know, it looks like something that I used to stick on my fridge when I was a kid, the different letters and spell out words and stuff. It would have been nice to have a tasteful badge, but they did do the Sonata name badge, spot on the money, nice 21st century look. They actually hide the button for the trunk release in the Hyundai badge. There's your backup camera. We drop our way down, just a little bit of gloss black, and then some nice silver shiny trim to match the front, even a vortex generator diffuser along the bottom portion as well. So they really worked on air management to help get that extra range out of this vehicle. But why don't we pop the hood and see what's powering our Sonata Hybrid. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Underneath the hood, you'll see the combination of that internal combustion engine and the electric motor. So what are we looking at? We're basically looking at that 2-liter inline 4, which is a naturally aspirated engine, combined with the single electric motor is gonna give us 192 horsepower. It's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission, so no CVT, a traditional 6-speed automatic transmission. You are utilizing a lithium-ion battery. The sad news is, if you're looking for a fast hybrid, this is not the one. 0 to 60 in about 8 seconds. But the great news is, here's your MPGs, 45 in the city, 51 on the highway. That gives you a range of 686 miles. That's what some organizations are discovering, and the car weighs 3,550 pounds. Comparing that to, obviously, cars like the Toyota Camry, it does come up a little bit short, but why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what big things the Sonata on the limited trim brings that maybe the competition doesn't. All right, guys, we're inside the Sonata Hybrid limited trim Calypso Red. I'm actually calling it Calypso Cooler Red. Remember Calypso Coolers? I remember those when I was younger. But anyways, I know you're at that point where you're saying, all right, Joe, I'm looking at hybrids. I'm looking for a mid-size sedan. I'm not going SUV. I refuse to go SUV. How much is this one? Because I've been eyeballing the others. The way that you see it, fully loaded, limited trim, you're looking at $36,000 for an MSRP. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels, you're going to notice nice soft touch material. You're also going to notice that, hey, Hyundai can make a colorful interior. So I like the way this has the optional Bose sound system. Look at the way they took the silver trim and just so decorative with blending it into the door handle. You have some nice two-tone with the beige and the darker gray color. I'm not a big fan of beige, but hey, it works with the Calypso Red. And then door pocket, it's on the smaller side, so maybe just 2 tacos from Chipotle. You're gonna have to forego the burrito, and you could get a bottle, though, of Dr. Pepper to wash it all down. Now, when you go from the door panel to the dash, I like the way they did these flush vents, especially with the silver trim. You got that same silver trim from the door panel. They run it all the way across, soft touch with the stitch work. Yes, We're in a Hyundai. Why can't they do this on the Veloster N? This sexy stitch work and soft material. And then guess what? You get to this center area. What do we see? You're seeing that great infotainment setup. So you're going to have 10.25 inches of visual pleasure. I like the way they integrated it nicely into the dash. You got that silver trim that follows all the way around. A little bit of gloss black, but nothing too crazy. Navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Is it a touchscreen? Of course it's a touchscreen. I just touched it and it did something. You could easily go back to home. You could have the 3 screens that split up. And then here's a nice little fun feature that Hyundai has been doing on their different models. You could actually get sounds of nature. So here in Florida, we don't get much snow. We really don't get any snow. But if you are here on vacation or you live here and you want to have that snowy experience, kind of weird. Doesn't sound like snow. It sounds like you're walking in snow or you're chewing some ice or something like that. But it's just kind of cool to have those different features. And then backup cameras. Let's take a look at how clear those are. We throw it into reverse. You're going to get good size here. It is on the clearer side. And then, of course, we got our 360 camera and trajectory galore. You could change the angles very easily. So nice to see that flexibility when it comes to the angles. And then you got your forward-facing camera, which is wonderful. So they got you covered when it comes to cameras, and the clarity is spot on. Very simple to kind of navigate through everything. Look how I made it nice and large. I could go back to home. We could bring up the navigation. There it is, 10.25 inches. Drop it down. You got your engine start-stop button. Nice silver finish on it. The way they do the AC vents. A little bit more gloss black, but nothing too crazy because we got dual climate control. And then check it out. Heated steering wheel. And thank you, Hyundai. We have ventilated seats and heated seats. Drop yourself down. You got a 12-volt, 2 USBs, wireless charging, and a little area for a couple Twinkies, maybe 4 to kind of keep it flush. I just wish there was a lid. So that's where I'm going to zonk it. A nice lid would have just kind of cleaned up the whole style. A little bit more gloss black. Where I feel like they went wrong is they should have used this trim. This trim looks great. Covers your fingerprints. Doesn't look like anything else I've seen in other midsize. So it's a little gloss black heavy, but this is going to control that 6-speed automatic. I do like the silver that they use on the buttons. You slide your way back. You do have a drive mode selector switch, and I'll show more of that when you come to the business end. And then key fob. There's your unique Sonata Hybrid key fob. Flip it around. You got remote start, which is nice. Semi-soft on the armrest, but you know what? You open it up, and you could easily put, I would say, $1 million. You could put $1 million, not in cash, but $1 million in 100 gram bars easily in that center console. Close it down, seats. It is that light beige color, but I'm digging it. The stitching, I love the perforated center. You're gonna get full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. The only bummer, I think that's gonna turn some people off, no sunroof, but how do you have a solar panel roof and a sunroof? It's just not gonna work. One or the other. I'll go with the solar panel roof because it just looks killer. Looks like something from Tron. But why don't you come over here to the business side? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Sonata Hybrid. All right, guys, here we are behind the wheel, the business end. You do have that nice aluminum sill plate that says Sonata to remind you what kind of car you bought in case you forgot. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's side and the electric seat controls with that lower lumbar. Very easy to get to. I'm 6 feet tall. Even with the solar panel roof, I could fit in here no problem. And then steering wheel, it's growing on me, especially in this gray color. I like the thickness of the steering wheel. The stitch work is nice. And the way they brought the silver, like the different silver touches, very classy. Horn button, they could have went a little bit further. Paddles on the back of the steering wheel will allow you to go up and down that 6-speed automatic transmission. Then the dash, if you like 12 inches, there's 12 inches. It's actually a little bit over 12 inches. It's 12.3 inches of visual pleasure. Let me show you the modes. Watch this. So right now, obviously, we are in clear, which is regular mode. So I could keep going. You're in smart. And then obviously we're going to go sport. But look at how the graphics, look at how everything changes very, very easily. Super crisp, super clear graphics. I wish more brands were doing what Hyundai is doing. And then you could change the center display as well, which is wonderful. And then another thing I wanted to show you is their awesome turn signal system. So because we got the 360 cameras, look at this, right? and then left. That to me is smart technology, and it keeps you safe so that you don't have any blind spots, but just phenomenal what they're doing. And of course, the steering wheel is tilting and telescoping, so you could perfect the comfort level in the Sonata Hybrid. But why don't we get to the back seat? Because guess what? Your passengers are gonna be sitting on a battery, and are they gonna be sacrificing any headroom? Let's find out. All right, guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you right now, even with the lithium-ion battery, which that's what we're sitting on, it's underneath the passenger seat, still got plenty of headroom. Obviously, you can move the seats 24 different ways from Sunday to give you more or less legroom. One of the zonks right off the bat, somebody stole our pocket off the back of the seat. I'm very surprised to see that a limited trim has no pocket behind the driver's seat. You do get rear AC vents and one USB, which is very nice. I have a cargo net style pocket back here, but you know how I feel about these. These are gonna rip very easily, especially if you bring your sharp knives and throwing stars and stuff like that. It's gonna rip right through it. Part of the problem that I see is that if you're doing a family trip and you're going that extra mileage because you went with the hybrid, where are you gonna put all the snacks? That's the big mystery, because the door pockets are very, very tight. Small bags of Lay's, small bags of those Chips Ahoy 100-calorie bags. The reason why they're 100 calories, guys, is because they actually have less cookies in the bag. That's all it is. But what you do get is an armrest, good height, 2 cup holders. The seats are comfortable, and I really feel like I could lay out. Of course, you have the manual shades that you could raise and lower very easily. Nothing for the back, but that's okay. But why don't we get to the trunk out in the back, because I want to hyper mile the Sonata Hybrid. All right, guys, time for the trunk. Remember, to find the button, if you're looking for the button, it's going to be right there. Opens up nicely all by its lonesome, and then you're going to get that same great amount of space. Now, here's the crazy news. The mad magicians and scientists at Hyundai were able to only lose 0.3 cubic feet of space. So you're looking at 16 cubic feet of space, even with the hybrid setup. You have the seats that will fold down very easily. You just pull the tabs up top. What do we have underneath the cargo mat? Of course, you're gonna get a nice spare there, which is wonderful. You see so many brands cutting that out. But the amount of space really shows that, yes, you could have your hybrid and you could have your sedan too, but let's go ahead. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do some on throttle and see what kind of range we could get out of this Sonata Hybrid. All right, guys, we left our special undisclosed location. We're in the 2021 Sonata Hybrid, and I can't believe what I'm about to say. I actually enjoy not only looking at this hybrid more than the standard internal combustion engine version, I also like driving it more. It's very comfortable, and for a hybrid, I like the way it doesn't feel really like you're in a hybrid. Now, when it comes to the interior space, these seats are comfy. I personally would like to go more with a darker interior, but with the Calypso red, that off-white beige color actually works aesthetically. I'm just not too sure I would park it in my garage, this color combo. But that 12-inch display, 12.3-inch gauge cluster, very clear. And the fact that it's got that camera system. It's like, I remember when Honda came out with their version of the lane watch, and that was like big news, and it only worked on the passenger side, but to have that technology all wrapped into one. And of course you have your readouts, the power gauge, your different modes, and a 10.25-inch infotainment system that's easy to get to, touch screen just the way you want it, wireless charging. They really did kind of check off a lot of boxes. My challenge to Hyundai is do this in their other vehicles. The way that they have all the design, the textures, the colors, and the materials, bring that to their other vehicles in their lineup, not just the Sonata and the Palisade. I think one place that a Sonata Hybrid is going to spend a lot of time is not on a racetrack, but it's going to be on the highways and byways around the world. And getting out onto the highway here, one thing I've noticed with the Sonata Limited trim is the sound deadening is great. It's actually very, very quiet in the cabin in a good way. Wind noise is at a minimum because you're cheating the wind so much, and the drive, you know, the overall road noise, because of those 55 series tires, that's another blessing in disguise, is that you get a more comfortable ride than say a 45 series sidewall. and you also get less road noise, which is great. Going through the different modes, easy to do with that switch, and you'll notice right away. So I'm in basically normal mode. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into sport, and immediately you could feel the transmission and the engine is talking a little bit differently, a little bit different throttle response, but you're still gonna get the same great overall fuel savings as well. What I have found in my journeys over the past week driving this press fleet vehicle is that I actually just kept it in eco mode. I know that sounds crazy. I know you're probably like, Joe, are you okay? Did you bump your head today? I just keep it in eco mode because I feel like the way the car drives, it's super smooth, it's quiet, and you're gonna get really nice maximum fuel savings there. By going into sport, I don't think you're really getting much out of the driving experience overall. Now, maybe if I had a twisty road that I drove every day, maybe then I would go sport mode, but just driving on the highway here, as you can see, very, very smooth over the expansion joints. It soaks everything up. They did do a great job with the new Sonata. When they introduced it, it wasn't just a redesign, but they changed the chassis, and really the structure is super solid, but also super smooth when it comes to absorbing bumps and whatnot. But visibility is great. They did a great job with the technology. Of course, you're gonna get your lane keep assist, your blind spot monitoring, your emergency braking. As you can see here in Florida, everybody just kind of drives whatever way they want to drive and do whatever they want to do. But sitting back and relaxing and just enjoying the ventilated seats and going down the road in the Sonata Hybrid, it's quite surprising. I never thought in a million years, I promise you, that I would actually say that I enjoy driving the hybrid version of a vehicle more than the standard internal combustion engine. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing that to the N-Line. That's a totally different ball of wax. But with this Sonata Hybrid, comparing it to a regular Sonata Limited trim, it really does drive a lot nicer. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize is when you go hybrid, because of the lithium-ion battery pack, it lowers your center of gravity and actually improves handling and overall driving, which is shocking. No pun intended there, since we're talking about batteries and electricity. But let's see, as we go under this overpass here, how the handling is, the steering feel, and then of course, you know, we gotta go on throttle. I mean, that's a given. So round and round we go, super smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and put in sport mode. We're gonna slow down a little bit because nobody's coming up behind us, which is good news. And here we go. From pretty much a dead stop, on throttle, here we go. So nothing that's gonna win you any trophies at the drag strip, but that's not where you're winning. Where you're winning in this vehicle is getting that crazy range with the combination of the electric motor, the solar panel roof. The 6-speed, I've noticed, kind of shifts not smoothly. So it's one thing to think about that, yes, the great news is there's no CVT, but the 6-speed kind of has a little bit of a hard shift from first to second to third and so on and so forth. When you're driving on the highway, obviously it's not really a bother. I'm gonna go ahead and go on throttle as we're rolling here and see how that 6-speed behaves. So on throttle, it's just not as smooth as what it really could be, but you know what? I'm not gonna complain too much because I'm glad that there is a 6-speed automatic rather than a CVT transmission. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what the Sonata Hybrid's all about, all the features that it has and the great technology. We're going to get back to our undisclosed location and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day with this Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. I definitely got to thank Lori and the rest of the crew over at Hyundai USA for allowing Rady's Rides access to this press fleet vehicle. It's one of those things, if you're looking for style, if you're looking for that fuel savings and definitely some great technology on the inside and that solar powered roof, that's pretty cool just to look at. This thing checks off so many boxes that you're really gonna have to add it to your list if you're looking for that mid-size sedan compared to the competition. But if you want to keep seeing fuel sippers on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch, click that second link, become a Rady's Rides Patreon member. We got to give a huge thank you to the best videographer in the whole planetary universe, my wonderful wife Lori, working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.